what do you say we get started on Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward patch 3.2? Let's make our way back to Foundation so we can get it started. And also, if you hear any loud noises going on, that's because the apartment above me is currently being renovated. The previous tenants left, I guess, 2 weeks ago or so, and so the apartment above me is being refurbished for the arrival of new tenants. So if you hear a lot of rumbling going on, if you hear a lot of banging going on, that's what's causing it. So I'm currently recording on my PC and on my laptop like I traditionally do, just as a backup in case you can't necessarily hear anything that I'm saying or doing during the afternoon session here for our live webcast here for Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward. So I got to notice that one of the places we need to go in order to progress is the pillars here. Specifically, we need to go to where a good friend of ours is currently being surrounded on all sides. Specifically, that is Tataru we need to speak to. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to one area where Tataru is not being overwhelmed by people. And let's go ahead and speak with her. So, the final part of the day, the main story of Heavensward 3.2, starts with Tataru and her level 60 challenge entitled, As It Once Was. Tataru is waiting to share good tidings with you and Alphanode. Let's see what they have to say. Hey there, Tataru.
Alphanode, Mathia! I've been looking all over for you! We've received news regarding Philemon, Hoyboulder, and Coultonay.
Really? Has something happened?
No, it's nothing bad. Quite the opposite, in fact. It seems that once they learned the Scions' good name had been restored, they boarded the next ship bound for LIMSALOMINSA. They should be arriving any moment now. It's easy to forget how useful link pearls are, isn't it? When they work, I mean, and you don't mind being spied on.
Quite, but what wonderful news, to think of that our reunion is close at hand. Oh, speaking of which, Thancred, and you're being accompanied by Kryle. A pleasure to see you too, Alphanode. Ah, Thancred and Kryle, what brings the two of you here? Kryle and I have been looking low into how we might be able to track down Minfilia.
And we may have just found the answer.
That's news to me.
Mathia, when we were fleeing Uldar with Minfilia, you said the Hydaelyn spoke to her shortly before you parted ways, yes? Well, assuming that is true, I see no reason to suspect that it is not. It seems reasonable to conclude that Hydaelyn commanded her to remain behind.
Yeah, we did know about that.
That is to say, the Mother Crystal directly interceded to guide Minfilia. Admittedly, this is all still quite hypothetical, but I propose that such intervention, however subtle, must surely leave some residual trace. A lingering disturbance in the ether, or ripple if you will.
Yeah, this is something we actually know about, because at the end of Realm Reborn, when Minfilia left us, she had a vision of Hydaelyn calling out to her, so Kryle is definitely onto something here.
In order to establish the existence of such ripples, of course, we will require suitable data.
Fortunately, I know where such data can be found. The battleground where Mathia felled the ultimate weapon, and the site of my personal lignomy. 'Twas there that Hydaelyn intervened to shield him from the magic I invoked. Kryle and I will infiltrate the castrum and analyze the aether therein.
The two of you, alone?
I have a proven knack for subterfuge, and I'm confident there will be sufficient nooks and crannies in which to hide Kryle while the patrols pass. Besides, if you and Mathia come along, who ought to see to Philemon's grand homecoming? Fair enough.
When you put it like that, very well, I will trust in your plan.
And so?
I know not whether this data will yield a means to find Minfilia, but it will at the very least eliminate another avenue of inquiry. Tatsu and I will return to the Rising Stones and make preparations for our comrade's return. Might I impose upon you to meet them at the LIMSALOMINSA docks?
Of course, there, Alpha Node. I would be honored to do so.
Then I shall see the four of you at the Rising Stones. Safe travels.
And away they go. Yes, Miss Tatu certainly has drawn quite the crowd. And so, off to LIMSALOMINSA we go. Yeah, it's certainly been quite the experience to get back to this particular spot. I hope that all of you are enjoying us now taking on the afternoon session here for Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward patch 3.2. So we've arrived back here in LIMSALOMINSA, so we obviously have to go over to the docks. And specifically, we actually get to go to the Arcanist Guild, which is the last place you go to before you arrive at the docks, which take you to Vesper Bay in Thanlin. Yes, there's Philemon. Long time no see, along with Harry Boulder and Coltonay.
Oh, Mathia, how have you been? Come here, let me have a good look at you.
Alright, so...
Thank the 12. One hears the strangest tales in foreign lands. I worried about you all every day.
We would have sent word sooner, but the Braves afforded us no opportunity. When they fell upon us in the market, it was all we could do to escape. Tatu found her way to you, of course, but we were forced to seek shelter aboard our Hanish vessel. Yeah, you had to go incognito and whatnot. It pained us not being there when you needed us most, but we made the most of it, didn't we, Coltonay? Studied and trained from dusk till dawn, we did.
We would have sent word sooner, but we knew not whom to trust, and with the vast distance... But those dark days are behind us at last. I shall be glad indeed to return home and speak with my daughter.
If we can find her. 'Cause, yeah, I've got some bad news for you, Philemon.
What do you mean she's missing? How could you let this happen?
Well, we'll give you the terrible details if you want.
Forgive me, I'm sure you are doing everything in your power to find her. As Thancred must be. He watched over her from the first, long before me, and he will watch over her to the last. I shall pray for her safe return, and busy myself in the meantime.
For a certainty there is much and more to be done. The Braves may have bloodied us, but the path remains, and we shall not be swayed from it. Aye, that's the spirit! To the Scions and a long overdue reunion! Huzzah! Thank you very much for those words of confidence there, Harry Boulder.
Well, there you have it. To the Rising Stones.
And so away they go. Oh, we may get cutscene here. Yes, this would be Thancred and Kryl attempting to infiltrate Castor Meridianum on their own. Yeah, the Guardian Empire still maintains a presence here. Oh, wait a minute, that's Thancred. Okay, he's already disguised himself as an Imperial soldier.
Well done, sir. And with that, I believe we are ready to proceed.
I would agree.
Let us be about our business then. The next patrol may not be so credulous.
Indeed. In fact, I'm impressed you took the wrapping around off of your left eye there, Thancred. Yep, strip the poor guy down.
Why must you be so disappointingly brusque? You're not at all as Minfilia described, you know. I don't think you favoured me with so much as a single compliment since we set out.
I think he keeps the compliments for Minfilia.
Tell me, did your time in the wilderness sap you of all your charm? Or are you holding it in reserve for your beloved?
That would be the latter.
This is neither
It's like,
the
what are you
time
getting
nor the
at?
place.
But agree. But yeah. Come on, Kryle.
Well,
Stay focused
call
on
me
task.
old-fashioned, but when I'm risking life and limb infiltrating an Imperial castrum, I like to be sure of my comrades' motivations.
I see now where Alphino gets it from. Minfilia is dear to me. It is true. But not in the way you think. 15 years passed, when she was still but a child. There was an incident at a parade. A Gubu broke free of its fetters and ran amok through the streets of Ul'dah. Had I been more attentive, I could have prevented it. But I was distracted, and her father was killed.
And so you hold guilt for all this time. By the way, what's a Gubu doing in Ul'dah?
I feared she would never recover. But in the years that followed, she showed herself to be more resilient than I had ever imagined. And when she learned of her gift, she did not flinch from the responsibility, but sought to guide others on the path. She touched the hearts of all around her. Mine, Louisoix, every Scions. In those dark days following the calamity, she was our guiding light, our hope for a brighter future. She had so many dreams, and I would give anything to make them come true.
Even risking
My
your life?
apologies. I can see she means the world to you. I did not mean to pick at old scars.
Yeah.
No harm done, I assure you. But fair is fair, my lady. What is Minfilia to you?
Yeah, I guess it works
You mean
both
you
ways.
don't know? Only my dearest friend. When I finally emerged from my torpor, I learned that nary a day had passed without her asking after me. She never gave up hope. And neither will I.
Well, Minfilia did mention
Then
Kryle
for
quite a
Minfilia's
number of
sake,
times during
let us pray that these
Realm Reborn.
vestiges of Hydaelyn's intervention will lead us to her.
Oh, it turns out Kryle already knows the access code. Yeah, I guess you had to pick up this information ahead of time because they must have changed the access code after the fall of Gaius. They would have had to have taken such precaution. Well, now let's make our way over to Mordona, where I'm quite certain that there will be a lot going on. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what exactly is going to happen when we reunite with Philemon over in Mordona. Because I imagine she'll want to possibly dirty her hands to aid in the finding out the whereabouts of Minfilia. So here she is, right over here.
It feels good to be home again. To think that everyone is waiting for us just beyond those doors. Friends and family with whom we've shared so much. Gods help me, but the older I get, the more sentimental I become. Come, let us not keep them waiting.
Yeah, Hoibolder, of course, gives us his little fist pump there. I'm gonna have to speak with 5 different Scions on the Rising Stones. Alright. If that's what it must be coming down to, then that is what we shall do. But I still think that we will find Minfilia last because we still have yet to find Ida and Papa Limo. So yeah, let's start with Philemon.
Alan, for me, it fills my heart with joy to see you both hale and healthy. And what of Vigiri? She is well, though abroad on a mission at present. It wasn't just the same without you. Welcome back, my lady.
And then everyone else is all over here. Ergmus. Crazy Rogadin names. But yeah, he is a former Crystal Brave too. We could do with more of that around here. Heartfelt reunions with stalwart companions brings a bloody tear to the eye. Yeah, he's clearly wasted. Homei from Doma. To secret oneself in a ship's hold to secure safe passage to a faraway land. This is a tale we know all too well. When they are well rested, I should like to seek a formal introduction. Why wait, my friend. There is no need to be shy. Pray grant me a moment longer at least. Though I am happy to oblige you, my legs are rather less accommodating. Fair enough. Right, I guess Hoy Boulder and Coltonay are the other two. Ochre! What in the seven hells drove my little brother to come to Mordona? Oh, he has a brother, okay. I didn't even notice him. Why, you brother! You and the Scions, of course. For 1,000 days I trained that I might grow as strong as you, that I might fight alongside you. Yet now that you are here, I sense that you have surpassed me once more. No, do not tell me. You trained with a Hanish, did you not? Your eyes do not deceive, brother. I have studied the trials of the braves, and drunk deep of the souls of mine enemies. How reassuring. Coltonay, last word goes to you. Glad though I am to be home, I cannot help but think of those who have yet to return. Once we have settled in, I would join the search. I'm sure everyone wants to join the search. And so now we can finally complete challenge number 1 by speaking with Tataru. Hey there, Tataru. How are ya? Yeah, for the most part it's like old times, and yet at the same time not quite so much.
It's been so long since I've seen them all like this.
Too long. Indeed. 'Twas the chaos born of my foolish ambition which forced them to flee. Though they are returned, there are others yet missing, others whom we cannot forsake.
We'll find them, Alphanode. I know we will. Minfilia, Ida, Papalymo, every last one. And when they walk through those doors, we'll be here to welcome them home. With me at the head of the queue, of course.
I think we can agree to that because she is the most kind-hearted that there is in the FC. Okay, so choice of 2 different foods. One that is more geared towards me, one that is geared towards a mage. Let's go with the one that's geared towards a warrior as opposed to a mage. Alright, so that's one main story quest down. Let's take on the second. Level 60 challenge entitled The Word of the Mother. Alphanode is eager to return to the search for Minfilia. So not only are we getting gold, but we're also getting another minion. Alright. Thancred and Crowd contacted us a short while ago. It would seem that their foray into Castra Meridianum bore fruit. They ask that they rendezvous with them and Ishtola in IDYLLSHIRE, where they will share their findings. Rude though it is to depart without speaking to the guest of honor, I expect she will forgive me if I return with her daughter. Yeah, I don't think you'll get any complaints in that regard. So we gotta go over to IDYLLSHIRE for this next one. So let's go over to the place of out-of-place music, as it were. Where they start you off with bagpipes and then switch to something else altogether and leave you scratching your heads and wondering why. So let's see what we're going to be doing here in IDYLLSHIRE when we meet up with Kryl. And not surprisingly, there are going to be a lot of people in IDYLLSHIRE conducting business. I just hope that we can help them out as much as possible. Yeah. If you think this is bad on PS4, imagine how bad it's going to be on a PS3. How long it's going to take to have people coming. I mean, you can see how slow and how much lag there is in Mathia running around. That is a freaking load of lag. And the rainfall doesn't help either.
My apologies. I say I'm the last to arrive. So, what news have you for us? Well, as we postulated, there indeed were what appeared to be the remnants of an unexplained disturbance in the ether at the scene of the ultimate weapon's destruction, a ripple at odds with the presiding pattern. Though faint, the waveforms bore a strong resemblance to those observed following the destruction of the Isle of Val, when I believe Heidelin shielded me with the blessing of light.
To confirm our findings, we paid a visit to the sealed aqueducts. There we detected the same waveform, but orders of magnitude larger, as one would expect from a more recent disturbance.
Heidelin, there is no other explanation.
Go on. Oh, that's all you have to say, Y'shtola?
But there's more. When I studied the site where Y'shtola used flow, it appeared that not 2, but 3 beings had been affected. Yet unlike Y'shtola and Thancred, there was no trail to follow. Our unknown third party was simply there, and then not there.
So?
Now, recalling the visions of a vast crystal floating in a sea of ether, though this too is but a theory, studies of gifted subjects suggest that, when communicating with Heidelin, we briefly leave our bodies behind.
You mean the Echo?
So let us consider the facts. 1. Heidelin interceded. 2. A third being was caught in Y'shtola's flow and vanished without a trace. And 3. Heidelin may have the capacity to summon the consciousness of gifted individuals to her side. You are implying, I take it, that Heidelin guided Nymphilia into the compass of my magic, that she might summon her body and soul unto the ethereal sea. In which case, we must needs continue our search there. For a blessing, the means to do so already exists. I speak of the Anti-Tower, a Charlian construction conceived to provide scholars a vantage point over the ethereal sea.
With a determined look in her face, no less.
Though I not know where its address lies, we need only ask its last custodian, a contrary old crone who for another blessing refused to join the Exodus. Master Matoya was the keeper of the Anti-Tower? I had no idea.
Me neither.
Then our course is clear. We must petition her aid once again.
And so, that is what we shall do. That would explain the minion we're going to be getting. Because the minion we'll be obtaining is one that is used, or in this instance, is a minion of Matoya. So perhaps this should not come as much of a surprise that where we are going, we need to make use of, or we will rather be obtaining, access to a minion. So let's hope that we can be able to accomplish what we need to at the Anti-Tower after we get access and the access to it from Matoya. Let's go ahead and fly! Heading to the south. Because it seems for some reason all the good stuff, when it's not IDYLLSHIRE, is all in the south of the DRAVANIAN hinterlands. Yeah, no new dungeons here to be found in the DRAVANIAN hinterlands. That was already taken care of in patch 3.1 with the introduction of St. Mosian's Arboretum. However, that does not mean that there has not been additions to dungeons already shown. Alexander has been expanded for patch 3.2, and so it's basically like expanding on the Binding Coil of Bahamut. It's basically the same principle in that regard. So we want to make our way over this direction. We want to make sure that we get into an area where we'll be able to access Matoya's cave. I do remember this little bridge over here. It lets us know we're close. Here we are. Alright, perfect. Let's make our way inside. Oh, Matoya, we're back! Here you are. And we'll be reuniting with quite a few people from previous Heavensward patches, it seems.
Oh, what a surprise! Well, What secrets have you come to extract from me this time? Ah, though it pains me to admit it, your words strike close to the mark. We humbly ask that you grant us entry to the Anti-Tower, that we might use it to seek a friend who we believe has been transported to the ethereal sea. And who told you I could do such a thing, I wonder? Looks directly at Y'shtola. The tower was abandoned to its magical keepers 15 years ago. They have the run of the place now. If that is no deterrent to you, then by all means. Well, it's not like it's ever stopped us before. Is that all? I felt sure you would seek to dissuade us from our course, given your role as custodian. Well, hardly. The Forum foisted the title on me. During the Exodus, every entrance to the Anti-Tower was sealed save one. My role consists of making sure no one with ill intent sneaks through it. Such was the Forum's final order to me. Well, I can remove the walls right now. Will you be going or not? Oh, we're definitely going. We will, Master Matoya. We will do whatever it takes to find Minfilia. We'll see about that. Mathia can go. Take the magicless rogue too if you like, he's no use to me. The rest of you will stay and work, and I'll hear no arguments. Those are my terms. Always split up. Oh, and I should be delighted to accompany you. Lead the way, Mathia. Thancred, no. Your etheric flow has been compromised. Do not deny it. To venture into an environment so thick with ether, so close to the ethereal sea, would be to risk further impairment, or worse. But Minfilia could be in there waiting for us. And you could die, and for what? If she's waiting beyond, Mathia will find her. Trust in him. Have faith. Yeah, exactly. So how come you wear that bandana sometimes and sometimes you don't there, Thancred? It's a bit confusing to me, but I'll make sure to bring her back. So yeah, the Anti-Tower can be accessed from here inside Matoya's cave. Alright, then now that we know that it lurks in here, of all places. Yeah, right next to all these stacks of books. What do you say we go ahead and we will get our entrance into the Anti-Tower?